Brought to you by WikiVidi.com. DC Comics. DC Comics, Inc. is an American comic book publisher. It is the publishing unit of DC Entertainment, a subsidiary of Warner Bros. Entertainment, Inc., a division of Time Warner. DC Comics is one of the largest and oldest American comic book companies, and produces material featuring numerous well-known heroic characters including Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, The Flash, Aquaman, Black Canary, Hawkman, Supergirl, Hawkgirl, Green Arrow, Martian Manhunter, Cyborg, Static, Zatanna, and Shazam. Most of their material takes place in the fictional DC universe, which also features teams such as the Justice League, the Justice Society of America, the Suicide Squad, and the Teen Titans, and well-known villains such as the Joker, Lex Luthor, the Cheetah, Darkseid, Catwoman, Ra's al Ghul, Deathstroke, Reverse Flash, Sinestro, Black Adam, and Brainiac. The company has also published non-DC universe-related material, including Watchmen, V for Vendetta, and many titles under their alternative imprint Vertigo. The initials, DC, came from the company's popular series Detective Comics, which featured Batman's debut, and subsequently became part of the company's name. Originally in Manhattan at 432 4th Avenue, the DC Comics offices have been located at 480 and later 575 Lexington Avenue, 909 3rd Avenue, 75 Rockefeller Plaza, 666 5th Avenue, and 1325 Avenue of the Americas. DC had its headquarters at 1700 Broadway, Midtown Manhattan, New York City. But it was announced in October 2013 that DC Entertainment would relocate its headquarters from New York to Burbank, California in 2015. Random House distributes DC Comics books to the bookstore market, while Diamond Comic Distributors supplies the comics shop specialty market. DC Comics and its major, longtime competitor Marvel Comics together shared 70% of the American comic book market in 2016. Origins. Entrepreneur Major Malcolm Wheeler Nicholson founded National Allied Publications in autumn 1934. The company debuted with the tabloid-sized New Fun, the big comic magazine, with a cover date of February 1935. The company's second title, New Comics, appeared in a size close to what would become comic book standard during the period fans and historians call the golden age of comic books, with slightly larger dimensions than today's. That title evolved into Adventure Comics, which continued through issue 03 in 1983, becoming one of the longest-running comic book series. In 2009, DC revived Adventure Comics with its original numbering. In 1935, Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, the future creators of Superman, created Dr. Occult, who was the earliest DC Comics character to still be in the DC universe. Wheeler Nicholson's third and final title, Detective Comics, advertised with a cover illustration dated December 1936, eventually premiered 3 months late, with a March 1937 cover date. The themed anthology series would become a sensation with the introduction of Batman in issue 7. By then, however, Wheeler Nicholson had gone. In 1937, in debt to printing plant owner and magazine distributor Harry Donenfeld, who also published pulp magazines and operated as a principal in the magazine distributorship Independent News, Wheeler Nicholson had to take Donenfeld on as a partner in order to publish Detective Comics. Detective Comics, Inc. was formed with Wheeler Nicholson and Jack S. Leibowitz, Donenfeld's accountant, listed as owners. Major Wheeler Nicholson remained for a year, but cash flow problems continued, and he was forced out. Shortly afterward, Detective Comics, Inc. purchased the remains of National Allied, also known as Nicholson Publishing, at a bankruptcy auction. Detective Comics, Inc. soon launched a fourth title, Action Comics, the premiere of which introduced Superman. Action Comics, the first comic book to feature the new character archetype, soon known as superheroes, proved a sales hit. The company quickly introduced such other popular characters as the Sandman and Batman. On February 22, 2010, a copy of Action Comics sold at an auction from an anonymous seller to an anonymous buyer for $1 million, besting the $317,000 record for a comic book set by a different copy, in lesser condition, the previous year. The Golden Age. National Allied Publications soon merged with Detective Comics, Inc. to form National Comics Publications on September 30, 1946, which absorbed an affiliated concern, Max Gaines and Leibowitz, All-American Publications. That year, Gaines let Leibowitz buy him out, and kept only picture stories from the Bible as the foundation of his own new company, EC Comics. At that point, Leibowitz promptly orchestrated the merger of All American and Detective Comics into National Comics. Next, he took charge of organizing National Comics, the self-distributorship, independent news, and their affiliated firms into a single corporate entity, National Periodical Publications. National Periodical Publications became publicly traded on the stock market in 1961. Despite the official names, National Comics and National Periodical Publications, the company began branding itself as Superman DC as early as 1940, and the company became known colloquially as DC Comics for years before the official adoption of that name in 1977. The company began to move aggressively against what it saw as copyright-violating imitations from other companies, such as Fox Comics' Wonder Man, which Fox started as a copy of Superman. This extended to DC suing Fawcett Comics over Captain Marvel, at the time Comics' top-selling character. Despite the fact that parallels between Captain Marvel and Superman seemed more tenuous, the courts ruled that substantial and deliberate copying of copyrighted material had occurred. Faced with declining sales and the prospect of bankruptcy if it lost, Fawcett capitulated in 1953 and ceased comics publication. Years later, Fawcett sold the rights for Captain Marvel to DC, which in 1972 revived Captain Marvel in the new title Shazam, featuring artwork by his creator, C.C. Beck. In the meantime, the abandoned trademark had been seized by Marvel Comics in 1967, with the creation of their Captain Marvel, disallowing the DC comic itself to be called that. While Captain Marvel did not recapture his old popularity, he later appeared in a Saturday morning live-action TV adaptation, and gained a prominent place in the mainstream continuity DC calls the DC Universe. When the popularity of superheroes faded in the late 1940s, the company focused on such genres as science fiction, westerns, humor, and romance. DC also published crime and horror titles, but relatively tame ones, and thus avoided the mid-1950s backlash against such comics. A handful of the most popular superhero titles, including Action Comics and Detective Comics, the medium's two longest-running titles, continued publication. Thank you for watching. Brought to you by WikiVidi.com. Please like and subscribe below. Please like and subscribe below.